Adaejah Hodge has just made history. The 20-year-old sprint sensation delivered a remarkable performance to become Commonwealth Games champion in the women's 200 meters, earning the biggest victory of her career and bringing a historic gold medal back to the British Virgin Islands. But while her performance on the track left little doubt, her victory also comes with a story many athletics fans haven't forgotten. Coming into the Commonwealth Games, Adaejah Hodge wasn't simply another finalist. She was one of the fastest women in the field, but also one of the most closely watched. After winning the World Under-20 title in 2024, Hodge later served a suspension following a positive test for the prohibited substance GW 501516. Athletics authorities accepted that the substance had been taken unintentionally, and after a reduced, backdated sanction, she became eligible to return to competition at the beginning of 2026. Since returning, every race has carried added attention. For some, this Commonwealth final represented an opportunity for redemption. For others, questions still remained. The only place Hodge could answer them was on the track. The women's 200-meter final featured a talented field representing some of the Commonwealth's strongest sprint nations. Lining up alongside Adaejah Hodge were Shaniqua Bascombe of Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica's Alana Reid, Ashanti Moore, and Lavanya Williams, as well as Australia's Tori Lewis, England's Success Edwan, and Singapore's Veronica Shanti Pereira. Several of these athletes had already produced impressive performances throughout the season, making this one of the most competitive sprint finals of the championships. For Hodge, however, this race carried even greater significance. Winning would not only secure the biggest title of her career, but also mark the British Virgin Islands' first Commonwealth women's 200-meter gold medal and complete one of the sport's most closely watched comebacks. As the gun fired, Hodge reacted cleanly and immediately settled into her drive phase. Rather than forcing the pace through the opening meters, she stayed relaxed while maintaining excellent form around the curve. Through the bend, several athletes remained closely matched, with the field still tightly packed, approaching the transition into the home straight. Then came the decisive moment. As they straightened for the final 100 meters, Hodge began increasing her cadence without losing her technique. While others started to tighten under pressure, she continued to accelerate, gradually separating herself from the athletes chasing behind. Behind her, the battle for the remaining medals intensified as the field fought desperately to stay in contention. But Hodge had already established the advantage she needed. With every stride, the finish line moved closer, and so did the biggest victory of her career. As the finish line approached, Adaejah Hodge looked completely in control. Her powerful transition off the bend had already created the separation she needed, and despite the determined chase behind her, no one could close the gap. Behind Hodge, the battle for the remaining medals intensified. Shaniqua Bascombe of Trinidad and Tobago continued producing one of the finest races of her career, pulling away from the chasing pack to secure second place. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Alana Reid held off her teammates Ashanti Moore and Lavanya Williams in a tightly contested fight for bronze, with just hundredths of a second separating the three Jamaican sprinters. But at the front, there was no doubt about the winner. Adaejah Hodge crossed the finish line first in 22.07 seconds, becoming the Commonwealth Games women's 200-meter champion. Bascombe claimed silver in 22.35, while Reid secured bronze in 22.56, narrowly ahead of Moore's 22.57. It was the biggest victory of Hodge's young career and a historic moment for the British Virgin Islands. Normally, moments like these are followed by embraces, congratulations, and shared celebrations between competitors. This time, however, the atmosphere felt noticeably different. Several athletes chose not to congratulate Hodge immediately after the race, reflecting the mixed opinions that still surround her return to competition following her completed suspension. The reaction quickly became a talking point across the athletics community. For some, the focus remained entirely on what Hodge had achieved on the track. For others, her previous suspension continued to shape how they viewed her success. Hodge herself remained composed. Speaking after the race, Hodge said she wasn't concerned by the reactions of her rivals, adding that whether they chose to congratulate her or not was entirely their decision. She emphasized that she would always respect her fellow competitors, praised the effort of every finalist and credited her mental strength, consistent routine, and faith for helping her deliver the biggest victory of her career. Whatever opinions people may hold, the official result cannot be changed. Adaejah Hodge is now a Commonwealth Games champion. Her victory also marks one of the biggest moments in the sporting history of the British Virgin Islands, adding another major international title to the nation's growing sprint legacy. At just 20 years old, Hodge still has many years ahead of her, and this performance immediately places her among the athletes to watch as the road continues toward the next World Championships and beyond. The questions surrounding her past may not disappear overnight, but on this day in Glasgow, her performance was the fastest in the field, and that earned her the Commonwealth title. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe to the Athlete Insider, and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest stories from the world of track and field. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.